In a small village in Nigeria, there were two best friends named Chioma and Adaeze. They grew up together, went to the same school, and did almost everything together. Chioma was kind and always helped everyone, while Adaeze was smart and loved to tell stories. One day, Chioma met a man named Emeka. He was tall, handsome, and very friendly. Chioma and Emeka fell in love and got married. Adaeze was so happy for her friend. She was the maid of honor at their wedding and even helped Chioma choose her wedding dress. A few months after the wedding, Adaeze started visiting Chioma and Emeka's house more often. She enjoyed spending time with them, but she noticed something strange. Whenever Emeka smiled at her or talked to her, Adaeze felt her heart beat faster. She tried to ignore these feelings, but they kept growing stronger. One evening, Chioma went to visit her mother, leaving Adaeze and Emeka alone at home. They talked and laughed, and Adaeze realized that she was falling in love with Emeka. She felt guilty because Chioma was her best friend, but her feelings were too strong to ignore. As days went by, Adaeze couldn't stop thinking about Emeka. She knew it was wrong, but she couldn't help herself. One day, when Chioma was away, Adaeze and Emeka talked about their feelings. They both knew it was wrong, but they couldn't stop themselves. They ended up holding hands and promising to keep it a secret. Adaeze felt terrible. She had cheated on her best friend. She didn't know what to do. She loved Chioma like a sister, but she also had feelings for Emeka. Every time she saw Chioma, she felt guilty and sad. She didn't want to hurt her friend, but she didn't know how to stop her feelings. One afternoon, Chioma invited Adaeze to her house. They sat down and talked about old times. Chioma laughed and told funny stories, but Adaeze couldn't laugh. She felt too guilty. She wanted to tell Chioma the truth, but she was afraid of losing her friend. As Chioma and Adaeze sat together, Chioma noticed something was wrong with her friend. Adaeze was usually so lively and happy, but today she seemed sad and distracted. Chioma asked, "Adaeze, is everything okay? You don't seem like yourself." Adaeze forced a smile and said, "I'm fine, Chioma. Just a bit tired, that's all." But deep inside, she felt like crying. She couldn't stop thinking about Emeka and the promise they had made to each other. It was tearing her apart. Meanwhile, Emeka was also feeling troubled. He loved Chioma, but he couldn't deny his feelings for Adaeze. He knew it was wrong to have feelings for his wife's best friend, but he couldn't help it. Every time he saw Adaeze, his heart raced. One day, Emeka decided to talk to Adaeze. He wanted to find a solution to their problem. He asked her to meet him at a quiet spot near the river, where they could talk without anyone seeing them. Adaeze agreed, even though she was scared. She didn't know what Emeka would say. When they met, Emeka looked into Adaeze's eyes and said, "Adaeze, I can't stop thinking about you. But I also love Chioma. I don't want to hurt her, but I don't know what to do. This situation is tearing me apart." Adaeze felt the same way. She said, "Emeka, I feel the same. I care about Chioma so much, but my feelings for you are so strong. I don't want to hurt her either. What should we do?" They both knew they had to find a way to deal with their feelings without hurting Chioma. They decided to keep their distance and avoid being alone together. They hoped that with time, their feelings would fade and things would go back to normal. But it wasn't easy. Every time Adaeze saw Emeka, her heart ached. She missed talking to him and spending time with him. Emeka felt the same way. He missed Adaeze's company and her laughter. One day, Chioma noticed that Adaeze and Emeka were acting strangely. They seemed distant and avoided each other. She didn't know what was going on, but she was worried. She decided to talk to Emeka about it. "Emeka, Is everything okay? You and Adaez seem so distant lately. Did something happen? Kioma asked. Emeka tried to act normal and said, No, Kioma, everything is fine. Maybe she's just busy with something. Don't worry about it. But Kioma wasn't convinced. She felt like something was wrong. But she didn't know what. She decided to keep an eye on them and find out what was really going on. Chioma couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. She decided to visit Adaize's house to talk to her privately. When she arrived, she found Adaize sitting on the porch, looking lost in thought. Adaize, Kioma said softly, sitting down beside her. Is there something you're not telling me? I feel like you and Emeka are hiding something. Adaize's heart raced. She wanted to tell Kioma the truth, but she was terrified of losing her best friend. She took a deep breath and said, Kioma, it's nothing. I've just been feeling a bit stressed lately. Maybe it's making me act differently. I'm sorry if I worried you. Kioma looked at Adaize closely. She could see that her friend was struggling with something, but she didn't want to push too hard. If you ever need to talk, I'm here for you, she said, giving Adaize a reassuring hug. Meanwhile, Emeka was also finding it hard to keep his feelings hidden. He avoided being alone with Adaize, but every time he saw her, his heart ached. He knew he had to make a decision before things got worse. One evening, while Kioma was out, Emeka sat down to write a letter to Adaize. He poured his heart out, explaining how much he cared for her, but also how much he loved Kioma. He knew they couldn't continue like this. He needed to find a way to let go of his feelings for Adaize. Emeka left the letter at Adaize's house the next morning. When Adaize found it, she read it with tears in her eyes. She felt the same way Emeka did. She knew they couldn't keep this secret any longer. It wasn't fair to Kioma, and it was tearing them apart. That evening, Adaize decided to visit Emeka and Kioma's house to talk to Emeka. When she arrived, she found Emeka sitting outside, looking deep in thought. Emeka, Adaize said softly. I read your letter. I feel the same way. We need to find a way to move on and stop hurting Kioma. Emeka nodded, his eyes filled with sadness. I know, Adaize. It's not fair to her. We need to find a way to end this and focus on what's important. They both agreed to keep their distance and avoid being alone together. They hoped that with time, their feelings would fade, and they could go back to being friends without the pain and guilt. As the days went by, Adaize and Emeka tried their best to avoid each other. It was difficult, but they knew it was the right thing to do. They focused on their lives and tried to move on. But Kioma wasn't blind. She noticed the change in their behavior, and couldn't help but feel that something was still wrong. She decided to keep a closer eye on them, determined to find out what was really going on. As the days turned into weeks, Kioma continued to observe the strange behavior between Emeka and Adaize. She noticed how they avoided eye contact and kept their conversations short. Chioma's worry grew, and she decided it was time to take action. One Saturday morning, Kioma invited Adaize over for breakfast. They sat in the kitchen, enjoying a meal of akara and pap. Chioma decided to bring up the topic gently. Adaize, Kioma began, her voice soft and caring. I've noticed that you and Emeka have been acting differently lately. Is there something going on that you're not telling me? Adaize felt her heart race. She knew this moment would come, but she wasn't prepared for it. She took a deep breath and looked at Kioma. Kioma, I need to tell you something. It's been eating me up inside. Chioma listened intently, her heart pounding with anticipation. What is it, Adaize? You can tell me anything. Adaize struggled to find the right words. Kioma, Emeka and we've been feeling something for each other. We never wanted it to happen, and we tried to stop it. But the feelings were too strong. We both feel terrible about it. Kioma's eyes widened in shock. She felt a mix of anger, hurt, and confusion. You mean to tell me that you and Emeka have been in love with each other? How could you do this to me, Adaize? How could Emeka do this? Tears welled up in Adaize's eyes. Kioma, I'm so sorry. We never wanted to hurt you. We've been trying to stay away from each other to stop these feelings. But it's been so hard. Kioma stood up, her emotions overwhelming her. I need to talk to Emeka. I can't believe this is happening. She marched out of the kitchen and found Emeka in the living room. He looked up and saw the pain in Kioma's eyes. He knew immediately that Adaize had told her everything. Kioma, Emeka began, his voice trembling. I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you. Adaize and we tried to stop our feelings. But it's been so difficult. Kioma felt tears streaming down her face. Emeka, how could you do this to me? We promised to love each other forever. How could you fall for my best friend? Emeka reached out to her, but she stepped back. Kioma, please understand. We've been trying to do the right thing. We know it's wrong, and we're trying to fix it. Kioma felt torn between her love for Emeka and her pain from the betrayal. She didn't know what to do. She needed time to think. I need some time alone, Kioma said, her voice breaking. I need to figure out what to do. With that, she left the house, leaving Emeka and Adaize behind. They both felt a deep sense of regret and sorrow. They knew they had made a terrible mistake, and now they had to face the consequences. Chioma walked to a nearby park, her mind racing with thoughts and emotions. She found a quiet bench and sat down, trying to process everything. She loved Emeka deeply, but the betrayal from both him and Adaize felt like a knife to her heart. Meanwhile, back at the house, Emeka and Adaize sat in silence, both feeling the weight of their actions. Emeka finally spoke, his voice filled with regret. Adaize, we have to make this right, we can't keep hurting Kioma like this. Adaize nodded, tears streaming down her face. I know, Emeka, we have to fix this, but I don't know how. Hours passed, and Kioma finally returned home, her eyes red from crying. She found Emeka and Adaize waiting for her. The tension in the room was palpable. Kioma, Emeka began, his voice shaky. We are so sorry. We know we've hurt you deeply, and we want to make things right. Please tell us what we can do. Chioma took a deep breath, trying to gather her thoughts. I need to know if you both truly want to fix this. Do you love me, Emeka? And Adaize? Are you willing to step back and let us heal? Emeka looked at Kioma with sincere eyes. I love you, Kioma. I made a terrible mistake, but I want to make it right. I want to rebuild our trust and our love. Adaize, still crying, nodded. Kioma, you're my best friend. I never wanted to hurt you. I'm willing to step back and give you the space you need. I want us to be friends again, but I understand if it takes time. Chioma felt a glimmer of hope. If we're going to fix this, we need to be honest with each other. No more secrets. And we need time to heal. It won't be easy. But I believe we can do it. Emeka and Adaize agreed. They knew it would take time and effort, but they were committed to making things right. Over the next few weeks, Kioma, Emeka, and Adaize worked hard to rebuild their relationships. Emeka and Kioma spent time together, talking about their feelings and working through their issues. Adaize gave them the space they needed, focusing on her own healing. One day, Kioma decided to visit her mother to talk about everything that had happened. She needed her mother's wisdom and guidance. When she arrived, her mother welcomed her with open arms. "Chioma, my dear, what's troubling you?" her mother asked, sensing her daughter's pain. Chioma took a deep breath and explained everything. Her mother listened carefully, offering comfort and advice. "Chioma, forgiveness is a journey," her mother said gently. "It's not easy, but if you truly love Emeka and believe in your friendship with Adaize, you can find a way to heal. Trust takes time to rebuild, but with love and patience it's possible." Chioma felt a sense of peace after talking to her mother. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was willing to try. She returned home with a renewed sense of hope. As Chioma walked into the house, she found Emeka and Adaize waiting for her. They could see the change in her eyes. "Let's take this one step at a time," Chioma said with a small smile. "We can do this together." Chioma, Emeka, and Adaize took Chioma's words to heart and began their journey of healing and rebuilding trust. They knew it would take time and effort, but they were committed to making things right. To help with the healing process, they decided to spend more time together as a group, focusing on the positive aspects of their relationships. They went on picnics, played games, and even visited the local market together, trying to recapture the happy moments they once shared. One sunny afternoon, they decided to go on a hike to a beautiful hill overlooking the village. As they reached the top, they sat down to rest and enjoy the breathtaking view. The air was filled with the sounds of birds chirping and the gentle rustling of leaves. Chioma turned to Emeka and Adaize, her heart full of hope. "I want us to make a promise," she said softly. "A promise to always be honest with each other, no matter how difficult it may be." Emeka nodded, his eyes filled with sincerity. "I promise, Chioma. No more secrets." Adaize, with tears in her eyes, added, "I promise too. I want us to rebuild our friendship and trust." Feeling a sense of unity, they all joined hands and made their promise, sealing it with a heartfelt embrace. They knew it wouldn't be easy, but they were ready to face the challenges together. As the weeks went by, Chioma and Emeka's relationship began to improve. They started going on dates again, rekindling the romance that had brought them together in the first place. Emeka made an extra effort to show Chioma how much he loved and appreciated her, and Chioma began to trust him more each day. Adaize, on the other hand, focused on her own healing. She spent time with her family and friends, finding solace in their support. She also discovered new hobbies, like painting and gardening, which helped her cope with her emotions and find peace within herself. One evening, Chioma invited Adaize over for dinner. It had been a while since they had spent time alone together, and Chioma wanted to see how Adaize was doing. As they sat down to eat, Chioma looked at her friend and said, "Adaize, I've missed our time together. How have you been?" Adaize smiled, feeling grateful for Chioma's concern. "I've been doing better, Chioma. I've found new ways to keep myself busy and happy. I'm also working on forgiving myself for everything that happened." Adaize: "I know it hasn't been easy, but I believe we can get through this. Our friendship means a lot to me." Tears welled up in Adaize's eyes as she squeezed Chioma's hand. "Thank you, Chioma. Your forgiveness and understanding mean everything to me." Their bond grew stronger that night, and they both felt a renewed sense of hope for the future. They knew there would still be challenges ahead, but they were determined to face them together. As time passed, the village began to notice the changes in their relationships. People admired their strength and commitment to healing. They became an inspiration to others, showing that with love, honesty, and forgiveness, even the deepest wounds could be healed. As the seasons changed, so did the dynamics between Chioma, Emeka, and Adaize. The healing process was ongoing, and while there were still moments of discomfort, their commitment to each other began to bear fruit. One day, As Kioma was preparing for a family gathering, she noticed Emeka looking unusually distant. She approached him with concern. "Emeka, is everything okay? You've been quiet lately." Emeka sighed and said, "Kioma, I've been thinking a lot about our future. We've been working hard to rebuild our trust, but I'm worried that I might not be doing enough to make things right. I don't want you to feel like this is just about time passing." Kioma took Emeka's hand. "I appreciate that you're thinking about our future. I want us to continue moving forward, but we also need to be patient with ourselves. Healing takes time." Emeka nodded, feeling reassured by Kioma's words. "You're right. We need to keep working together and not lose sight of what's important." Meanwhile, Adeze had been reflecting on her own journey. She had started volunteering at a local community center, helping children with their studies. The work gave her a sense of purpose and helped her find joy in giving back to the community. One afternoon, Adeze was working at the center when a young girl named Nkechi approached her with a drawing. "Aunt Adeze," Nkechi said shyly, "I made this picture for you. It's of you, me, and my friends." Adeze took the drawing, which showed her smiling with the children. Tears filled her eyes as she looked at the innocent faces in the picture. "Thank you, Nkechi. This is beautiful." As Adeze looked around the center, she felt a renewed sense of hope and purpose. She realized that despite the mistakes she had made, she could still make a positive impact on others' lives. Back at home, Kioma and Emeka prepared for the family gathering. They invited Adeze and a few close friends to celebrate their progress and to enjoy a day of togetherness. Kioma had spent the whole morning cooking delicious dishes, while Emeka set up the garden for the outdoor feast. As the guests arrived, the atmosphere was warm and welcoming. Laughter filled the air as everyone shared stories and enjoyed the food. Adeze, feeling grateful for the opportunity to be part of the celebration, joined in the festivities with a genuine smile. During the gathering, Emeka pulled Kioma aside for a quiet moment. "Kioma, I've been thinking a lot about our relationship. I want us to focus on creating new memories together, ones that will strengthen our bond." Kioma looked at Emeka with a hopeful smile. "I agree. Let's make new memories and cherish the good times. We've come a long way, and I want us to keep moving forward." As the sun set and the gathering came to an end, Kioma, Emeka, and Adeze sat together, feeling a sense of peace. They had worked hard to rebuild their relationships, and while there were still challenges ahead, they were ready to face them together. In the quiet of the evening, Kioma reflected on their journey. She knew that healing was a continuous process, but she also knew that with love, patience, and understanding, they could overcome any obstacle. The days continued to pass, and the bond between Kioma, Emeka, and Adeze grew stronger. They had learned to navigate their complex emotions and focus on rebuilding their relationships. Life in the village seemed to return to a sense of normalcy, but challenges still arose. One evening, Kioma and Emeka were having a quiet dinner at home when Emeka's phone rang. It was a call from his old friend Uche, who was coming to visit. Uche had been away for many years and wanted to reconnect with Emeka and Kioma. "Kioma," Emeka said excitedly, "Uche is coming to visit us next week. I haven't seen him in years. It will be great to catch up." Kioma smiled, glad to see Emeka excited about something. "That sounds wonderful. Let's make sure everything is perfect for his visit." As the days went by, Kioma and Emeka prepared for Uche's arrival. They cleaned the house, planned a special meal, and even asked Adeze to help with some of the preparations. Adeze, feeling happy to be part of the plans, gladly agreed. When Uche arrived, he was warmly welcomed by everyone. He had a lively personality and quickly brought energy and laughter into the house. As they sat down to dinner, Uche shared stories from his travels and experiences, making everyone feel at ease. However, As the evening progressed, Uche began to notice the tension between Adaize and Emeka. He could sense that something was off and asked Emeka about it privately. Emeka hesitated but decided to be honest with his old friend. Uche, it's a long story, but we've had some challenges recently. Adaize and I had feelings for each other, which caused a lot of pain. We're working on healing and rebuilding our relationships. Uche listened carefully, understanding the gravity of the situation. It sounds like you're all trying your best to make things right. Healing takes time, and it's good to see that you're making an effort. The next day, Uche took Emeka aside for a walk in the village. They strolled through the familiar streets, catching up on old times. Uche offered advice and support, encouraging Emeka to continue working on rebuilding trust with Kioma and Adaize. Meanwhile, Kioma and Adaize spent time together, talking about their experiences and how they had been coping. Adaize expressed her gratitude for Kioma's forgiveness and support. Kioma, Adaize said, I want you to know how much I appreciate your understanding. It's been a difficult journey, but I'm learning to move forward. I hope we can continue to rebuild our friendship. Kioma smiled, feeling a sense of relief. Adaize, I appreciate your honesty. Let's keep working on our friendship. It's important to me, and I believe we can get through this. As the days passed, Uche's visit became a source of joy and encouragement for everyone. He reminded them of the importance of friendship, forgiveness, and moving forward. His presence helped to lighten the mood and provided a fresh perspective on their challenges. One evening, as they sat around a campfire, Uche shared a story about a time when he faced a difficult situation and how he managed to overcome it with the support of his friends and family. This story reminds me, Uche said, that even in the toughest times, we can find strength in each other. Trust and forgiveness are powerful tools that can help us heal and grow. Kioma, Emeka, and Adaize listened attentively, feeling inspired by Uche's words. They knew that their journey was far from over, but they felt renewed hope and determination to continue working on their relationships. Uche's visit had brought a new sense of hope and energy into Kioma, Emeka, and Adaize's lives. The wisdom and warmth Uche shared were valuable, and the days with him were filled with laughter and reflection. However, as Uche prepared to leave, life began to present new challenges. On the day Uche was set to leave, Kioma and Emeka took him to the bus station. They chatted about the good times they had shared and expressed their gratitude for his support. Adaize, who couldn't join them, sent Uche a heartfelt letter thanking him for his visit. As Uche's bus pulled away, Kioma felt a mixture of sadness and hope. The visit had been a reminder of the importance of friendship and resilience. Back at home, things were starting to feel more normal. Kioma and Emeka continued to work on their relationship, going on small outings and having honest conversations. They were slowly finding their rhythm again. One day, Kioma received a call from a local community organization that was looking for volunteers to help with a new project. They needed people to assist with organizing a community fair aimed at bringing people together and promoting local crafts and foods. Kioma was excited about the opportunity and thought it would be a great way to involve Emeka and Adaize. She approached them with the idea. Emeka, Adaize, Kioma said enthusiastically. There's a community fair coming up, and they need volunteers. I think it would be a wonderful chance for us to contribute to the community and spend time together. Emeka and Adaize both agreed. They were eager to participate and support the event, seeing it as an opportunity to focus on something positive and engaging. As they began preparing for the fair, they worked together on tasks like setting up booths, arranging decorations, and promoting the event. The day of the fair arrived, and the village was abuzz with excitement. Colorful stalls lined the streets, showcasing local crafts, foods, and entertainment. Kioma, Emeka, and Adaize were busy helping out, and the event was a huge success. During the fair, Kioma and Adaize had a chance to reflect on their journey. They both realized how much they had grown and how their friendship had evolved. "Kioma," Adaeze said, "I'm really proud of how far we've come. I know we still have a lot to work through, but this event has shown me that we can overcome our challenges." Kioma smiled and hugged Adaeze. "I'm proud of us too. We've made progress, and it feels good to contribute to something positive. I'm hopeful for our future." As the fair came to an end, the village gathered for a closing ceremony. Chioma, Emeka, and Adaeze were recognized for their hard work and dedication. They received heartfelt thanks from the community and felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Later that evening, as they walked home, Kioma, Emeka, and Adaeze talked about their experiences. They felt a renewed sense of unity and purpose. "This fair was a great reminder of what we can achieve together," Emeka said. "It's important to focus on the positive aspects of our lives and support each other." Kioma agreed. "I believe that as long as we keep working together and supporting each other, we can overcome any challenge." Adaeze added, "And we'll keep making new memories that will help us heal and grow." As they arrived home, they knew that their journey was far from over. They still had challenges to face and healing to continue. But they also knew that with love, patience, and unity, they could navigate whatever lay ahead. The community fair had been a turning point for Kioma, Emeka, and Adaeze. They felt a renewed sense of purpose and connection. As they continued to rebuild their lives, they faced both new opportunities and challenges. One day, Kioma received exciting news. The community center where Adaeze volunteered had invited her to lead a new project to teach local children about arts and crafts. Adaeze was thrilled about the opportunity and shared the news with Kioma and Emeka. "I'm so excited about this project," Adaeze said. "It's a chance to give back and do something meaningful. I'd love for you both to come and see what we're working on." Kioma and Emeka were happy for Adaeze and agreed to support her in any way they could. They attended meetings and helped with preparations, feeling proud of Adaeze's dedication. As the project progressed, Kioma and Emeka noticed how Adaeze's enthusiasm and creativity were inspiring the children. She was passionate about teaching them new skills and encouraging them to express themselves through art. One evening, Kioma and Emeka visited the community center to see the project in action. The children were busy creating colorful paintings and sculptures, their faces lighting up with excitement. Adaeze greeted them with a warm smile. "I'm so glad you could come. The kids have been working hard, and they're really enjoying it." Kioma watched with admiration as Adaeze interacted with the children. She saw how much Adaeze had grown and how her work was making a positive impact on the community. Later that night, as Kioma and Emeka walked home, they talked about their observations. "Adaeze is doing amazing work," Kioma said. "It's wonderful to see how passionate she is about helping the children. I'm proud of her." Emeka nodded. "Yes, it's inspiring to see how she's turned things around and found a new purpose. It's a reminder of how important it is to keep moving forward and make a difference." In the following weeks, the project continued to thrive, and Adaeze's efforts were recognized by the community. She received praise for her dedication and creativity, and the children's artwork was displayed at a local exhibition. One evening, as they were celebrating the success of the project, Adaeze received a phone call from her cousin, Ifeoma, who was visiting from another town. Ifeoma was excited to catch up and wanted to meet Adaeze. "Adaeze," Ifeoma said on the phone, "I'm coming to visit next week. I can't wait to see you and hear all about your new project." Adaeze was thrilled about the visit and shared the news with Kioma and Emeka. "My cousin Ifeoma is coming to visit next week. She's always been so supportive, and I'm excited to introduce her to you both." Kioma and Emeka were eager to meet Ifeoma and agreed to help Adaeze prepare for her visit. As Ifeoma's arrival approached, Kioma and Emeka prepared a special dinner to welcome her. They wanted to make a good impression and show their appreciation for her support. On the day of Ifeoma's visit, Kioma, Emeka, and Adaeze welcomed her with open arms. Ifeoma was warm and friendly, and the evening was filled with laughter and stories. As they sat around the dinner table, Ifeoma shared stories about her own experiences and offered encouragement to Adaeze. "I'm so proud of you, Adaeze," Ifeoma said. "You've done incredible work, and it's clear that you're making a difference. Keep following your passion." Adaeze felt a surge of gratitude. "Thank you, Ifeoma. Your support means a lot to me." The evening ended on a positive note, with everyone feeling connected and uplifted. As Ifeoma settled into her visit, Kioma, Emeka, and Adaeze looked forward to the continued growth and healing in their lives. The weeks that followed Ifeoma's visit were filled with a mix of joy and reflection. Adaeze's project continued to succeed, and Kioma and Emeka felt more secure in their relationship. Their lives were gradually finding a new rhythm, marked by both new beginnings and ongoing challenges. One sunny afternoon, Kioma, Emeka, and Adaeze sat together in the garden, enjoying a peaceful moment. They talked about the changes in their lives and how much they had grown over the past months. "I've been thinking about everything we've been through," Kioma said thoughtfully. "We've faced so many challenges, but we've also learned a lot about ourselves and each other." Emeka nodded. "It's true. We've worked hard to rebuild our relationships, and while it hasn't been easy, it's been worth it. We've come to understand the value of trust and forgiveness." Adaeze looked at her friends with a sense of contentment. "I feel the same way. This journey has taught me that even when things seem impossible, there's always a way forward if we're willing to work together." As they sat together, enjoying the serenity of the garden, a gentle breeze rustled the leaves, and the sun cast a warm glow over them. It was a moment of calm and reflection, a testament to how far they had come. That evening, they decided to hold a small celebration in the village to thank their friends and neighbors for their support. They organized a gathering where people could share their stories and enjoy the community's camaraderie. During the event, Kioma took the opportunity to share a few words with the gathered crowd. She spoke about their journey and the lessons they had learned along the way. "Life is full of ups and downs," Kioma began. "We've faced our own share of difficulties, but through it all, we've discovered the power of forgiveness, understanding, and patience. It's not always easy, but these qualities have helped us heal and grow." She continued. "One of the most important lessons we've learned is that trust is something we build and rebuild every day. It takes effort and time, but it's worth it. By supporting each other and working together, we can overcome even the toughest challenges." The crowd listened attentively, and many nodded in agreement. Emeka and Adaeze joined Kioma in expressing their gratitude and sharing their own insights. As the evening came to a close, the villagers celebrated with music, dance, and laughter. The sense of unity and support was palpable, and it was clear that the bonds they had strengthened would continue to grow. As Kioma, Emeka, and Adaeze walked home, they reflected on the celebration and the journey they had been on. "I'm grateful for how far we've come," Emeka said. "And I'm thankful for the support of our friends and family." Kioma smiled. "Me too. We've learned that even when things seem difficult, we can find strength in each other and in the lessons we've learned." Adaeze agreed. "And it's important to remember that no matter what happens, we have the power to shape our future with love and understanding." The story of Kioma, Emeka, and Adaeze came to a close with a sense of fulfillment and hope. They had faced their struggles and emerged stronger, with a deeper appreciation for the importance of trust, forgiveness, and community. The story teaches us that, even in the face of challenges and mistakes, We can find healing and growth through forgiveness, patience, and support. Trust and understanding are essential in building and maintaining strong relationships. By working together and valuing the support of those around us, we can overcome difficulties and create positive change in our lives and the lives of others.